What would you do if a scammer not only ripped you off but gloated about it to your face? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. He ultimately made the man who conned him out of $400 pay a stunning $15,000 price. And it all started with a simple second-hand water heater. It all began when I was selling a few things online to clear out some space. Among the items was a commercial-style water heater. The kind you'd find in a community hall or a church kitchen. It was in perfect working order. And I listed it for $150. Pretty quickly, I got an email from a guy named Marcus who ran a landscaping business. He was blunt, offering $100 cash. Today. I just wanted it gone. So I agreed. Done. I left it outside for him. And my security camera confirmed he picked it up. 2 weeks later, an email from Marcus landed in my inbox. The water heater wasn't working. That was strange. But I wanted to be fair. I replied immediately, offering him a full refund or to cover the repair cost if it was under $100. His response was anything but fair. Instead of taking my offer, he sent an invoice for $400. He claimed the repairs were already done and gave me a 48-hour ultimatum to pay up, or he'd send debt collectors after me. Panicked and intimidated, I paid it. I sent him the confirmation. And his reply was what really stuck with me. He wrote, "This is the price you sometimes have to pay when selling second-hand electronics." Followed by, "Have a great day. Don't let this hold you back." Smiley face. Marcus typed out his smug reply. A single sentence and a smiley face he thought was clever. He had no idea that this email, this digital taunt, would become the very script for his own financial ruin. About a month later, I was at a bar trying to forget the whole thing when I overheard a young woman at the next table. She was telling her friends a story about her boss, a landscaper, who had just royally screwed over some dumbass who sold him a water heater. My ears perked up. I walked over and said, "Oh damn. I've got to hear this. Do you mind if I join you?" She welcomed me to the table and launched into the story. Her boss, she explained, had bought a busted water heater from a second-hand store for just $25. He then bought my working one for $100, took the invoice for repairing the broken one, and billed me for it. The final touch? He then sold my perfectly good water heater to a community group for $300. I feigned shock and asked for the company's name, joking that I wouldn't want to hire that guy to do my yard. When she said the name, it was the same one from Marcus's emails. I was the dumbass in her story. I was furious. But soon after, the pandemic hit. And honestly, I had bigger things to worry about. The world shut down. And 18 months passed. One evening, I was browsing the same website where I'd sold the water heater. And I stumbled upon a massive sale. A landscaping firm was selling everything: shovels, wheelbarrows, power tools, and a generator. I saw the seller was Marcus's company. Now, in my part of the world, if a business sells a generator, it's required to have a warrant of fitness. Or WF, basically. A certificate proving it's safe and works correctly. Most private sellers ignore this. But for a business, it's the law. Just looking at the pictures, I knew there was no way in hell that generator had a WF. This was the moment the gears of vengeance began to turn. Marcus's greatest flaw wasn't just his dishonesty. It was his sloppy, arrogant belief that he was untouchable. That rules were for other people. That arrogance was about to become his most expensive liability. I spoke to my flatmate, Sam, and he was all in. He agreed to go 50-50 on the generator and handle the money transfer. When we went to pick it up, I finally saw Marcus in person. He was a grumpy-looking man who seemed to enjoy yelling at his employees while emptying out his storage unit. He was very clear with us, as it is. No refund. Sam showed him the transfer confirmation for $800. And we hauled the generator away. As expected, no warrant of fitness was provided. We took it straight to a friend who's an electrician. His verdict was damning. He said, "It would be cheaper to buy a new generator, and to be honest, this generator shouldn't have been sold. It should have been scrapped." He drew up an official invoice for the necessary repairs, around $5,000. We also discovered that the main serial number had been scratched off. But a secondary tracking number, often used for WAF records, was still visible. We emailed Marcus with the $5,000 repair quote. He promptly shot back, "As it is, no refund." So we asked him, "Have you got the warrant of fitness for this generator?" He fell back on his favorite line, "As it is, no refund." Completely oblivious that he wasn't just refusing a refund. He was walking straight into a legal trap that had been patiently waiting for him for 18 months. 2 days of silence followed. We emailed again. No response. Another email. And this time he replied, offering to take the generator back for the $800 we paid. We said no. We wanted the WAF. Then, nothing. We emailed him every single day for 2 weeks. And he ignored every message. So, we took action. We printed out the original online listing, which we had screenshotted, and reported him to the website and then to the government. 4 months later, we were in court. Before we went in, Marcus cornered me. He wasn't asking. He was telling me. He said he would give us the $800 back. And in return, we would go tell the judge that we'd been refunded and wanted to drop the case. "That's what's happening here," he said. Full stop. End of story. I looked him right in the eye and said, "No." The court session was incredibly quick. The government inspector took the stand and stated that the generator was dangerously unsafe and should never have been sold. And then came the killer blow. The inspector testified that Marcus had already tried to get a WAF for that exact generator in early 2021. He had been explicitly told it was unsafe, needed to be repaired or scrapped, and was not to be sold. They identified it using the secondary tracking number, the one he'd forgotten to scratch off. The judge delivered the verdict. Marcus was ordered to refund my flatmate Sam the $800, pay the $5,000 for repairs, and was hit with a $10,000 fine, which would be paid directly to Sam as the affected party. As we left the courtroom, Marcus was seething. He stormed over to us, furious, yelling that he wasn't paying a penny more and that he couldn't understand what he had done to deserve this. I let him finish, then calmly said, "Remember the water heater?" He gave me a very confused look. "Remember the water heater you bought for $100? I continued. "Well, I do, because I sold it to you, and I know that you had a different one repaired and invoiced me for it." His jaw was on the floor. I decided to hit it home, using the words he had taught me. "It's a bitch. Isn't it? When what goes around comes around, especially when it accumulates interest. You have 48 hours to pay, or a debt collector will be contacted. Remember, this is the price you sometimes have to pay when selling second-hand electronics. Have a great day. Don't let this hold you back. As one person commented on my story later, it was a power move. And it felt incredible to make him eat his own words. He paid the full $15,000. 2 days later. As a commenter on the original story perfectly put it, this is the definition of pro-revenge. Impressive. Made him eat his words and hit his pocket. Sam and I split the $10. 000 50-50 as we'd agreed. We used the other money to get the generator fully repaired and certified with a new WF and identifier number. Then sold it for $1. 000. And after all that, we went out for a wonderful dinner to celebrate. In the end, this story is a perfect example that cheating someone over a small amount can come back to you tenfold. The very words an antagonist uses to gloat can become the most satisfying part of their downfall. What's the most satisfying moment of karma you've ever witnessed or been a part of?